Good morning and welcome to this morning's daily cyber briefing. I'm your host, Rich Benfield, standing in for Stephen Ridgway. Today in the news, we have Good morning, welcome to today's daily cyber briefing. Apologies for technical issues today. In today's cyber news, we have TeamViewer's corporate network was breached in alleged APT hack. Former IT employee accessed data of over 1 million US patients. Researchers warn of flaws in widely used industrial gas analysis equipment. Bit of OT for you there. And majority of critical open source projects contain memory unsafe code. So from the top, let's talk TeamViewer. Remote access software company TeamViewer is warning that its corporate environment was breached in a cyber attack yesterday, with a cybersecurity firm claiming it was by an APT hacking group. On Wednesday, 26th of June 2024, their security team detected an irregularity in TeamViewer's internal corporate IT environment, TeamViewer said in its post to its trust center. They immediately activated their response team and procedures, started investigations together with a team of globally renowned cybersecurity experts, and implemented necessary remediation measures. TeamViewer's internal corporate IT environment is completely independent from the product environment. There is no evidence to suggest that the product environment or customer data is affected. Investigations are ongoing, and our primary focus remains to ensure the integrity of our systems. The company says that it plans to be transparent about the breach and will continuously update the status of its investigation as more information becomes available. However, though they say they aim to be transparent, the TeamViewer IT security update page contains a no-index HTML tag, which prevents a document from being indexed by search engines and thus hard to find. So TeamViewer is a very popular remote access software that allows users to remotely control a computer and use it as if it was sitting in front of the device. The company says its product is currently used by over 640,000 customers worldwide and has been installed on over 2.5 billion devices since the company launched. Whilst TeamViewer states that there's no evidence that its product environment or customer data has been breached, its massive use in both consumer and corporate networks makes any breach a significant concern, as it will provide full access to internal networks. So news of the breach was first reported on Mastodon by IT security professional Jeffrey, who shared portions of an alert shared on the Dutch Digital Trust Centre, a web portal used by the government, security experts and Dutch corporations to share information about cybersecurity threats. The NCC Group Global Threat Intelligence Team has been made aware of significant compromise of the TeamViewer remote access and support platform by an APT group, warns an alert from the IT security firm NCC Group. Due to the widespread usage of this software, the following alert is being circulated securely to our customers. An alert from Health ISAC, a community for healthcare professionals to share threat intelligence, also warned today that TeamViewer services were allegedly being actively targeted by the Russian hacking group APT29, known as Cozy Bear, Nobelium, and Midnight Blizzard. On June 27, 2024, Health ISAC received information from a trusted intelligence partner that APT29 is actively exploiting TeamViewer, reads the Health ISAC alert shared by Jeffrey. Health ISAC recommends reviewing logs for any unusual remote desktop traffic. Threat actors have been observed leveraging remote access tools. TeamViewer has been observed being exploited by threat actors associated with APT29. APT29 is a Russian advanced persistent threat group linked to Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service. The hacking group is known for its cyber espionage abilities and has been linked to numerous attacks over the years, including attacks on Western diplomats and a recent breach of Microsoft's corporate email environment. While the alerts from both companies come today, just as TeamViewer disclosed the incident, it is unclear if they are linked, as TeamViewer's and NCC's alerts address the corporate breach, while the Health ISAC alert focuses more on targeting TeamViewer connections. NCC Group told Bleeping Computer that they had nothing further to add when contacted for more information. So that's an interesting one. I know that TeamViewer is widely used across consumer and corporate networks. I've not used it for a few years because I've had security concerns. And I think my advice is if it has MFA in the current version, turn it on. You can't be too safe. Make sure TeamViewer logs are going into your scenes, for those of you that have them, and just be vigilant for the time being and keep watching the cyber news on that one. Next, former IT employee accessed data of over 1 million US patients. Geisinger, a prominent healthcare system in Pennsylvania, has announced a data breach involving a former employee of Nuance, an IT services provider contracted by the organization. Geisinger is a non-profit organization that operates 134 care sites, 10 hospitals, and the Geisinger Health Plan, serving a total of 1.2 million people. It employs 26,000 staff, including 1,600 doctors, and is considered one of Pennsylvania's most important organizations. So, in an announcement published earlier this week, they said that they detected unauthorized access to its patients database by a former Nuance employee. Nuance was promptly informed and took actions to block the former employee's access to the systems holding the patient records, and that employee has been terminated. And upon learning this, Nuance permanently disconnected its former employee's access to Geisinger's records. Subsequently, Nuance informed the law enforcement authorities accordingly, and the former employee was arrested and charged. So, not a good time for healthcare at the minute with the NHS stuff over in the UK, but this is a combination, presumably, of a disgruntled employee, and because it's Geisinger's supplier Nuance, it's also a supply chain attack. So it's a combo there, but the sort of data that's been breached is full medical records, what we'd consider PII, but the data exposed varies per person depending on what services they got through Geisinger. So that's quite an interesting one. Next, researchers warn of flaws in widely used industrial gas analysis equipment. So we have an OT one. Those of you that are using Emerson Rosemount gas chromatographs, well, that's a mouthful, could be exploited by malicious actors to obtain sensitive information, including denial of service and even execute arbitrary commands. So, model numbers. The flaws impact GC370XA, GC700XA, and GC1500XA, and reside in versions 4.1.5 and prior. According to operational technology security firm Clarity, the vulnerabilities include 2 command injection flaws and 2 separate authentication and authorization vulnerabilities that could be weaponized by unauthenticated attackers to perform a wide range of malicious actions, ranging from authentication bypass to command injection. Successful exploitation of these vulnerabilities could allow an unauthorized attacker with network access to run arbitrary commands, access sensitive information, cause denial of service condition, and bypass authentication to acquire admin capabilities, the US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, that's CISA, said in an advisory released in January. The chromatograph, which is used for carrying out critical gas measurements, can be configured and managed by means of a software called MOM. The software can also be used to store critical data and generate reports such as chromatograms, alarm history, event logs, and maintenance logs. So, Clarity's analysis of the firmware and proprietary protocol used for communication between a device and the Windows client, named Mon 2020, has revealed several shortcomings, and they've They're all CVEs, so be prepared for some numbers here. CVE 2023 46687 with a score of 9.8. That's an unauthenticated user with network access could execute arbitrary commands in a root context from a remote computer. CVE 2023 49716 with a score of 6.9. That's another unauthenticated user with network access can run arbitrary commands from a remote computer. And CVE 2023 51761 with a CVSS score of 8.3. Again, is around unauthenticated users with network access can bypass authentication and acquire admin capabilities by resetting the associated password. And finally, CVE 2023 43609. Again, an unauthenticated user with network access could obtain access to sensitive information or cause a denial of service condition. So there is an updated firmware available. So the recommendation is obviously to get it updated for those of you with that equipment. And finally today, majority of critical open source projects contain memory unsafe code. Apparently, more than half, in fact 52% of critical open source projects contain code written in a memory unsafe language, according to a new analysis by CSER in collaboration with government agency partners from Australia and Canada. The report you're going to want to look at is the Exploring Memory Safety in Critical Open Source Projects. And it's a joint report and investigates the scale of memory safety risk in open source software. They analysed a list of 172 projects derived from the Open Source Security Foundation, OpenSSF, Securing Critical Projects Working Group's list of critical projects. The report concluded that most critical open source projects potentially contain memory safety vulnerabilities, and this is a result of direct use of memory unsafe languages or external dependency on projects that use memory unsafe languages. My advice, read the document. It's called Exploring Memory Safety in Critical Open Source Projects. And then, of course, check your code. And that is it for today. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend and